Hey Randy, hope you're doing well. So I really like what I see in your contact sheet and in your selected images because I think you're one of the few students in the class who really understood what we wanted here, which is to basically create a scene that looked realistic using miniature figures and invest some time and creativity into studying and staging that basically. Um, and I think that's exactly what you've done. You've created this, you created a using its Lego figures, but you've created an illusion with these other figures, the stage behind, looks like you've used a mirror shiny surface on the bottom. That's all created. Basically, your concept is really like a movie still or a promotional still for a movie, that sort of thing. So I think you've done a good job of doing that. As far as lighting goes, again, I think you need to do more documentation. These are, I don't, I see, the only shot I see here is one. Let's see here. There we go, right there. And this is just, I don't get a sense of what you did for the other image with the Star Wars. So I'd like to get that. My suggestion here is there's no reason to have your light so far away from your subject. And you've shot all these at 3200. You've got, oh, probably 5 feet. You could move that closer. When you're shooting anything light in studio, you really just need to have your lights just outside your frame for the camera. And that way you take full advantage of the wattage of your light. So by having that distance, that didn't help any. The other thing to think about is you can use a tripod, so you can shoot at very slow shutter speed, half a second, 1 second, and that we can stop down further rather than shoot at such a high ISO. So that'd be two technical things to improve in your shoot that would work better. Now looking at I see you shot some good variety. You rearrange the figures a couple different ways. Um, It looks like this seems to be a different lighting setup because the shadows seem much softer than your other images. The Legos seem to be harder edge shadows, so you've used direct light rather than softer light. So we're missing that documentation. But again, I think you're shooting at a good depth of field, f10, but you've gone up to too high, 3200. Basically, that you want to shoot the lowest ISO possible. And you can do that by bringing your lights in. Like, just think about this space. We're probably talking about, a space of maybe 5 by, smaller, probably 4 by 5 inches, maybe, if we looked at this space right here on the frame. So your lights could be right here, could be that close, right outside. And that would give you a lot more intensity of light and allow you to lower your ISO. So think about that next time. Let's take a look at your choices for the assignment. Make it a little bit smaller so I can see it better. Oops. There you go. All right. So your lighting worked out fantastic for this. No deep dark shadows. We got a little bit of this. I don't know how you created the background, maybe just by cutting some streaks into board, but having it slightly out of focus worked well because that gives it more of a glowing effect. It also picked up some of the blue on the edge. See that right there on the edge of the blue? Which that's a nice little um, edge distinction between the foreground and the background, which works well. And then some nice reflections being picked up here on the bottom also. So that was done really well. I think your pose of the figures is fine. This one goes a little more depth of field because we have the figures just spread out a little bit. You shot these at good enough depth of field, small enough aperture that you got enough sharp range of sharpness to get some of the um, starship in focus. These images that you shot of the Legos, to me, they're just really a jumble of Legos. They don't really have, I'm struggling with the concept behind them. Here I've got definitely a strong concept. Here I'm just not sure what the purpose was of photograph all the Legos. Now, here also, here these take on dimension, personality, character, and scale is removed. And then here we have scale very clear. We can clearly see these are just simply a pile of Legos. So I think you're much more successful in these two images, and I'm really happy to see those.